Shalom Wagwathiam, first and foremost. I'd like to turn to the east and give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Makakodash. I'd like to proceed to the lesson. May the give me double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do it well and teach real, man. Shalom for the hopeful elect. Gotta keep my voice down, man. Right here at the Bayard. Got some family around, but we gonna rock, man. This is Memphis, man. I got a couple more sites pulled up. Over here, man. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Memphis, man. Memphis says, open this real quick. 85,000. 85,000 without power. Right here it says 67K without power. Esau, he's always changing the numbers, changing the digits, man. He can never be. He's always changing it up, man. He's always changing up the facts. What does the scripture say, man? He likes to say smooth things, man. But war was in his heart. Let me get that real quick. Psalms 55. Psalms 55 verse 21, and it reads, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Let's go to this, man. Let's play this.
Thus that this is the seventh most damaging storm, and that ranking comes from the number of customers who were affected. At the height of the outage yesterday, about 140,000 customers were without power. That number has since moved down, like you said, to about 85,000 at this time, but that was all caused by a Bow Echo thunderstorm, and that thunderstorm had winds reaching up to 80 miles per hour yesterday. Even though it lasted only about 45 minutes in Shelby County, MLGW says repairs will take days, but they're taking an all-hands-on-deck approach. Crews from out of the area have been brought in to help, and in total, MLGW's president says there are between 700 to 800 people working to get the lights back on for folks in Shelby County. Despite the help, officials are warning folks without power to prepare to stay without it until the end of the week.
That we have to get those critical systems first. That's things like water and wastewater. That's things like hospitals and other things that represent a public service that are critical to life safety. The next are substations that power the most of our community. There are 64 of those that provide primary power from high voltage to low. That work is underway.
Next, they'll handle large distribution circuits impacting many customers, individual streets, and finally, individual customers. Water treatment plants were also impacted in the storm, but are now in operation. The reservoirs are still low, though, so MLGW is asking people to please conserve water. One more thing, if your home has sustained damage because of that falling debris yesterday, you are going to have to call an electrician.
Y'all see what's going on, man. Memphis, Tennessee, Saturday night's Bow Echo storm is what they call it. With confirmed straight line winds up to 80 miles per hour, was the seventh most damaging storm in MLGW history. The utilities president CEO said, man. It reads, referencing the 2003 straight line windstorm that caused extended tree building and utility damage across the area. It harkens back to Hurricane Elvis. These people are getting hit, with a mass power outages, man. Let me just play this real quick.
Of how fucked up is fucked up. That's fucked up.
Okay, so it is August 23rd, 5:30 in the morning.
FYI, man, the first one that I read, I was in Memphis, man. In Memphis, Tennessee. Right here it says Tennessee, 115,000 homes and businesses are without power in Tennessee, man. And then we got, Gary, Indiana, man. I'm going to just play this real quick.
Morning, MLGW, Memphis Light Gas and Water, says over 110,000 customers are without power, and restoration may take a few days. They're estimating it may take until Thursday.
And remember, man, Remember, y'all, this is all the psyop by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, to see how the people is going to react.
Day to restore every customer's power in the Memphis area. And I'm Imani Williams, a journalist in the Memphis Mid-South area, making sure to bring the news straight to you. So power is out all across Memphis. This is my drive into work around 3 o'clock this morning, 3:30 this morning. It was kind of patchy. Some places had power, some places did not have power. So I'm going to put up what MLGW said. This is what they posted on their social media about the outages. They said people are out trying to restore power, but it may take a while. Poles are broken, poles are down. So a lot going on. This is not only happening, though, in Memphis, in Mississippi, also in Arkansas. There are thousands of people without power, and poles are down. Also, other spots in West Tennessee are experiencing the same thing. We haven't got a timeline from these other areas. MLGW has been the only utility company that I've seen that has kind of given a timeline. And so I hope that if you are...
No, it's but anyways, there's been reports of let's see.
And now they're facing this.
Some Gary, Indiana residents who've been without power for days, now frustrated and angry after learning that efforts to restore their service may be temporarily halted after a NIPSCO utility truck is hit by gunfire.
As soon as I heard,
Man, what does that sound like, man? Esau, doing these psyops, man, with this fucking with this agents and shit, man. It's all a psyop. See how, how long people go without bugging out, man. Hey, shit is about to get closer to when they actually have that full-on blackout, man, all over the United States, not just in some cities, man. Hey, pay attention.
this story, it made me think, why are people shooting at utility trucks trying to stop these people from restoring power to Gary? Meanwhile, the mayor of Gary says there's nothing to worry about.
They assure the public that we're going to do everything that's possible, that restoration of power is going to happen within the time frame that NIPSCO said.
I've seen several videos from people in Gary, Indiana, and I can imagine what these people are going through.
All right, let's open up some presets, man. Matthew chapter 24, verse 8, and it reads, "And all these are the beginning of sorrows." Let me go up. Matthew chapter 24, verse 1, man. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the building of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, "See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down." And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, "Tell us, what shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" And Yahushua answered, said unto them, "Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows," man. And we see the uproars of the people. Daniel 12:1, "And at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, Salakia. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." Kind of, we're about to come into these times, man. Verse 2, "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting content." Some everlasting life is the 144 and the 1/3, man. And some of shame and everlasting content is going to be those 2/3, man, that don't get right before Yahweh Shem Yahushua comes back. Verse 3, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. You know, and knowledge is being increased, man. The world is finding out that we are the Israelites, man. You don't wake up, endure until the end, man. You know, let me just get this real quick. Let's close on out. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. Hey, with that, hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful lake. I'd like to give my praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, Shalom.